Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our second virtual collaboration with Theater East of New York City. My name is Bernard Cummings. I'm an associate professor of theater here at SMU, and it gives me great pleasure to present this virtual reading, another virtual reading in collaboration with Theater East again. As I said last year, this all began with a what if, with me calling up artistic director Judson Jones of Theater East and saying, what if? And he goes, well, what if? And so here we are, 6 months later, still collaborating and still working through this COVID era, but most definitely doing some great creating with our students, professional actors, and professional directors. This has been a real life sort of exercise for our students, and I am very, very proud and happy of what we've been able to accomplish this year. So welcome. We want you to stay for the talk back, ask questions of our playwrights after the presentation. We'll start immediately. And we thank you for joining us this evening. And now we'll turn things over to Artistic Director Judson Jones.
Thank you, Bernard. Hello, I'm Judson Jones, Artistic Director of Theater East here in New York City. One of my favorites, Poet Laureate Gwendolyn Brooks wrote, "Does man love art? Man visits art, but squirms. Art hurts. Art urges voyages, and it's easier to stay at home than nice beer ready. I consider plays holy texts and playwrights their scribes. Their plays teach us. They challenge us. They comfort us. They confront us. They inspire us. They dare us. They provide the opportunity, if we're brave enough, to voyage. And through that voyage, we might be better." I'm grateful tonight. Grateful for all the generous souls involved. Grateful to Gretchen Smith, Bernard Cummings for making this happen. Grateful to have the opportunity to provide a platform in which these needed voices can be heard and championed. And I'm grateful for you, because tonight you become a part of that journey. Like Bernard said, we will have a talk back following. Please stick around for that conversation. But for now, sit back and enjoy the Wet Ink series.
Cadence, surrounded by monitors, clacks away at a keyboard. After completing one final task, she's prepared for work. She turns to another monitor and clocks in. As she does this, Apollo joins the comlink.
Hey there. Nice to meet you.
You too. Ready to drop in?
My shift just started.
So you're not ready?
No.
Do your sys check and progress eval quickly, and next time, do them before your shift.
You can hardly expect me to work when I'm not on the clock.
Safety is more important than money. You need to make sure none of your miner bots are malfunctioning, and you need to scout out a safe place to mine.
I can do that right now.
You know, there are about 1 billion jobless people back on homeworld that are just as qualified for you as this position.
You're right. And as soon as our contracts are up, they'll just replace us with a fresh crew that hasn't gone crazy yet. There's no reason for me to break a sweat for this job.
They're not going to replace me. And if you try a little harder, they won't replace you either.
Oh, yeah?
I only started last year and I'm already stationed at the helm.
No shit.
Captain's quarters.
Wait, hold on. You're in the helm and they have you on minor bot duty?
They stationed me here so they could supervise me more closely. I'll get a promotion once they see how efficient I am.
They told you that.
Practically.
Why would they promote you if you're so good at this low-level work? Seems smarter to make you think you're getting a promotion so that you work twice as hard and so that you feel extra motivated to keep other people in check.
People like you.
People like me. People who are disillusioned with this hunk of metal.
We've wasted enough time. Let's get started.
Yeah, okay. Let me finish up here.
Make it quick. I'm sending in half my minor bots now.
That should be fine. I'll just route them back to wherever the last guy had them.
You can't do that. You have to go in and...
Hey, you said you want me to make it quick? I'm making it quick.
Whatever.
Hey. I think we got off on the wrong foot. We're going to be with each other for the next 8 hours. Can we start over?
Okay.
My name's Apollo.
My name's Cadence.
So, up at the helm, huh? Looks nice.
Your station doesn't look much worse. Where are you?
Left wing. You know, I've probably seen more of this ship through comlinks than I have in person.
That makes sense. The Garden is the biggest ship owned by any mining company.
I know. Says that in every Eden pamphlet back on Homeworld. But none of them seem to mention that the Federation paid for the ship.
Is that true?
Oh, yeah. I don't want you to know that your interplanetary government's been picking favorites. So,
How are things looking on your end?
bots are definitely mining.
I'm serious.
So am I. The bots are mining. What more do you want to know?
Okay, Apollo, I understand that you're cynical about Eden, but we have a job to do. I need you to focus.
What, for 8 hours straight?
Yes. And then you can spend all the time you like in the relaxation chamber.
I prefer not to get my dopamine through a needle.
It helps you focus. It takes the edge off.
Ah, yes, because you are on edge, clearly.
Are you always this difficult to work with?
Are you always this difficult to have a conversation with?
We don't need to have a conversation. We need to work.
I do need to have a conversation, or I'm going to be crazy by the end of this shift.
Wait, Apollo.
What?
I'm getting a reading. We're causing tremors on the surface of Atlas.
So? That always happens eventually.
We aren't scheduled to cause any structural instability for another 3 or 4 days.
Okay, so we're a few days ahead of schedule. What's the big deal?
Link me into your end of the operation. I want to see how your bots are doing.
Oh, you thought my bots caused this?
Well, mine certainly didn't.
Well, I think it's just as likely that your bots caused it.
Into your end. I can keep you from fucking this up even more.
Fine.
Apollo, this is sloppy work.
I just picked up where the last guy left off.
Exactly. They were digging near the core.
So what?
With this much excavation so close to the planet's core, Atlas is going to implode a few days ahead of schedule. You're going to cost the company billions of dollars, if not more.
I'm fired.
And you'll be indebted to them for life.
What? No, they can't do that.
It's in our contract, Apollo.
Listen, you can help me out of here. My entire life is on the line, and I know that we haven't gotten along well, but I would really appreciate it if you didn't report this. Please.
What? And take half the blame? I'm sorry, Apollo, but I've worked too hard to lose this job. I can't cover for your carelessness.
Cadence, I will lose everything.
We can't exactly hide your mistake. The planet is going to explode. There's nothing we can do.
Well, good luck trying to salvage this shit yourself. And if they don't fire you, have fun running away at your dead-end job.
Fuck.
Suddenly, a static transmission pops into the comlink. The static fades, revealing Nerissa in her rundown house on the surface of Atlas.
Who are you?
You're with Eden Mining Company, aren't you?
You're not with Eden. How did you get this comlink?
What's your name?
Listen, I really don't have time.
Are you kidding? You're stealing from my planet and you don't have time for me.
My name is Cadence.
Okay, Cadence, listen to me. My name is Nerissa. I am the leader of a village here on Atlas. We have been very gracious hosts to you. When we saw your ships come into orbit, we said nothing. When we saw your robots stealing our natural resources, we said nothing. And now I feel our planet trembling in pain, so I must say something. Please leave. You've taken enough.
We're allowed to be here, Nerissa. We're here on a Federation grant.
Why should the Federation decide our fate? What has the Federation ever done for us? They're an interplanetary government, but they only care about the homeworld. The tens of other planets with human life are just resources to them.
Your planet has a population of less than 3,000. Your planet's resources will sustain the billions of people back on homeworld for years.
What happens after you spend all our resources? You go to some other planet and tear theirs away too?
The Federation has deemed fringe planets, like Atlas, less valuable than the billions of lives back on homeworld.
Cadence, you must know the Federation has no right to exchange human lives.
I'm just doing my job. I can't make any executive decisions.
Well, then get me someone who can. You sound like a Nazi saying you're just following orders.
Give me a break. You're really gonna bring up the Nazis? It's been like a century since we brought the Earth to a crisp and we're still talking about Nazis.
We'll still talk about Nazis as long as they're relevant.
If I could help you, I would. But there's nothing I can do for you. It's too late.
What do you mean?
Even if we ceased mining altogether, your planet would collapse in a few weeks anyway.
What? Collapse?
I'm sorry, Nerissa. This isn't easy for me.
I thought you were just taking our resources. I thought we'd still have a chance to survive off what little we had left. I didn't know you would destroy us.
We are going to continue mining. So the planet will implode in the next few days. Please take that time to say your goodbyes.
No, you can stop this.
I can't. And even if we did stop, it wouldn't matter in a few weeks from now.
You could use that time to get us an evacuation team.
I don't have the authorization to call off the mission and get you an evac team. Even the captain of the ship couldn't do that. We'd breach our contract with the Federation.
Cadence, you have the chance to save thousands of lives here. Please, don't be like everyone else in this cold, dead universe.
I'm sorry, Nerissa. You have approximately 3 days to live. Use that time wisely.
Cadence, please!
I will be closing my comm link momentarily.
If you do not help me, then every night as you drift off to sleep, you will think of me. You will think of my face. You will think of my people. You will think of how you personally killed every last soul on Atlas.
Goodbye, Nerissa.
Cadence disappears from the comlink. Nerissa stays on the comlink for a moment, alone. All hope is lost. She closes her comlink. End of play.
Gary, get on the Zoom call. We got 5 minutes. Click on the little blue website link. You got to turn your screen on. It's bottom left. Bottom left. Man, why do you have that picture as your Zoom thing? You look ridiculous. Oh, my Lord. Back up. Back up off the camera, man, and look human. And you're muted. You're muted, man. I can't hear you.
There's too many buttons, Jonathan. Why don't you come downstairs so I don't have to worry about the computer stuff?
'Cause you got the Rona, man. Yeah, that's why I've been upstairs all week, quarantining from you. I told you.
I don't feel good.
That makes a lot of sense, buddy. Well, what'd I say? I told you to put your mask on. I said, Gary, put your mask on when we're in public. And what'd you do? You don't listen.
It makes my face itchy.
Yeah, well, people don't care about itchy faces. They care about themselves.
That's why everybody was looking at me angry when we went to Kroger.
Everybody's looking at you angry when you went to Kroger. Your mask was Mickey Mouse. Do you know you're lying? The government agents are popping on this Zoom call any minute now.
I know my lines.
Well, say them.
Jonathan's been taking care of me ever since Mom and Dad died. He's been a good brother and a good caretaker. And
Say caregiver. Okay, you say caretaker, and I think undertaker. What, I look like a wrestler to you? Say caregiver.
He's been a good caregiver, and he's my brother. And
Look at the script.
And he's my brother, and I want to stay with him because I love my brother.
Why would you say that?
Well, you see, if I say that, maybe.
Why would you say that?
Well, I thought it would add some
I don't
emotional
need you to say you love me. Okay? I need you to read what I wrote for you. Don't say you love me. Soft, weak. We don't want to play weak.
Love isn't
Trust
weak. Love's a strong thing. Most movies are about love, like You've Got Mail. You don't like Tom Hanks?
Of course I like Tom Hanks. Everybody likes Tom Hanks. He's the white man's God. And I don't blame him. The man fucks. It's not the point, Gary. It's not about love. No, it's about trust. Trust means I trust you to read what I wrote for you when they need a statement from you, all right? And just let me do the talking, all right? And I'll say, if you want to add some extra pauses, and stutters when you speak to make sure they know you're not right in the head for sure.
I'm right in the head.
No, you're not.
I'm okay in the head.
Oh, shut up, man. You're the victim.
I'm not a victim.
Yes, man. Everybody's a victim. That's the world. Look, you fell out of mom with some wires loose in your head. It's nothing to be ashamed about. People kick like the world kicks people like you around, right? I don't do that. Do I? Look at me. No, I protect the shit out of you.
That's why I'm here, and that's why these government agents are never taking you away from me. Do you trust me?
Yeah. Why can't everybody just be born knowing what to do about themselves?
What a fucking G like you, man. Who knows?
Jonathan, I'm not a gangster.
Yeah. Well, who are you then? Tough guy? That shit's important. Knowing who you are, knowing what you want.
Yeah, I don't know, whatever people want, I guess.
Yeah, well, there you go then. Are you hungry? I have all the groceries up here with me because I don't trust you breathing all in the fridge. But
Hey,
leave something on the stairs.
I got my juice. Hey, I want to stay here. I don't want to be going nowhere.
You just knock that juice back and I'll take care of everything. All right, now you just worry about those lines, and I'm gonna worry about Drake. You just use some spit to lick your hair down, man. You're looking a little whack.
What's Drake?
Gary, Drake is the woman we've been on Zoom calls all week with, man. Right? Have you been paying attention? She's the woman that wants to take you away from me.
Oh shit! I don't want that. We don't want that.
Shit, man. You got to pay attention, man. They want to take you away from me. Okay, they want to stick you in some retard home. You're not a retard, man. Shit, they're fine with me taking care of your mom for 15 years, you know, but as soon as they like find out, oh, you're Rona positive, right? They want to talk about your well-being, about the level of care you have living with me, you know, about custody. Like I don't know how to take care of my brother. I mean, it pisses me off, man.
Pisses me off. Rona positive.
That's right. Hey, Betty. Nice of you to drop in. Betty, can I call you Betty? B?
For the fourth time this week, Mr. Miller. No, Mrs. Drake will do just fine.
Well, we try.
Hey, Gary. How are you doing?
I'm just fine, Mr. Drake.
What's that you're drinking?
Juice.
Well, I just went to the store, you know, and got like 3 big bottles of apple juice. It's his favorite, but he doesn't feel much like talking right now. He's not feeling good, right, Gary?
Thank you, Mr. Miller, but I really need to talk to Gary on his own. How are you feeling, Gary?
My breath hurts when it goes in and out.
Yeah, it does. Well, we got medicine for it. So, you know, I give. He doesn't swallow pills so good, so he takes like 4 servings of that pink cherry stuff they give to kids.
Thank you, Mr. Miller.
You call me John.
Mr. Miller, I would like to talk to Gary. If you would refrain from interrupting, that would be much appreciated. Now, Gary, I know.
How come you call him Mr. Miller, but I'm Gary?
You're right, Mr. Miller. Now, how are
Jonathan's been taking care of me ever since Mom and Dad died. He's been a good brother and a good caregiver, and he's my brother, and I want to stay with him.
Hey,
Mr. Miller.
Yeah.
John Miller. I appreciate the heart, but the theatrics are not appreciated. I need to talk to Gary, not your version of him. This is we are talking about the well-being of everyone involved here.
Oh, the well-being of everyone involved here. All right. Well, let me ask you. Do you take Gary here everywhere you go? Do you bring him to work? Do you leave sleep worrying about his life? Did you have to potty train him? But you sit in a room with a keyboard and a bunch of books that tell you what to know, right? You call it justice. This is my life. Okay, this is my brother. And no, we're not going to take
Mr. Miller, you work in a pizza parlor, yes?
So what? There's honor in that. There's honor in providing a meal for a man.
Yes, there is, Mr. Miller. Nobody's questioning that. But you and Gary both live off of that income.
Yeah, I already told you. I work my little butt to the bone 12 hours a day. All right. And I'm bringing a hell of a lot of tips. Yeah.
And pizza.
And pizza. We're doing just fine here.
Mr. Miller has asthma, yes? And a severe case at that? Mr. Miller, do you have asthma?
Jonathan, she's asking if you have asthma.
She's asking you, man.
I thought you were Mr. Miller.
Gary, do you have asthma?
Yeah.
What does that have to do with it? He's got an inhaler. It's a pacifier, really. God knows I know. I pay for it, and he uses it a lot.
Jonathan, let's be realistic here. You not having any help have been giving Gary care for the better part of 15 years. And maybe that's worked until now. But Mr. Miller, you can't deny that taking Gary, a severely handicapped and asthmatic young man, everywhere with you during a raging pandemic.
I didn't have a choice. What do I leave him at home?
I understand you didn't have a choice, but the fact of the matter is, Mr. Miller, you put him in danger. Having a case of asthma this severe, having to be lugged every which way during a pandemic, has cost him his health, Mr. Miller. You must have known the risk. Look at him, Jonathan. Look at your brother. Look, he is in pain.
Stop it. Will you just stop it? I know what you're doing. I ain't stupid.
Gary.
I know. You're pointing. I know it. You're pointing, making an example. Don't worry. I'm used to pointing. And I know you ain't. You know a percent of me, so you're pointing at the wrong shit. I can deal with pain. So
Gary, I know that this is hard.
Christ, you yourself? Severely handicapped? And asthmatic. Severely. Let me ask you a question, Gary. Are you severely handicapped?
Nah, no.
There you go, Mr. Drake. He doesn't need some doctors, some facility. He needs his brother.
I think you need your brother, Mr. Miller.
Yes, I do. Betty, thanks for noticing.
Mr. Miller, I'm going to say something now that you're not going to like. Every time I enter these Zoom calls, you're holding a beer or a bong. I find you to be a repulsive person. A person in Gary's position requires constant, undivided attention. I really would consider the life you have here and whether it is stable enough to inhabit both you and your brother. I know that this is hard, but the city would provide Gary the best care possible. And he would just be a 45-minute drive for a visit. You would have full access to him.
Talk to me, man.
You just gonna fail him? It's not what he wants, Betty. He wants to be here. I got full access to him here.
Mr. Miller, you can continue to fight me on this. That would be perfectly within your rights, but I strongly advise you consider what I've said. This is my job. This is what I do. I personally attend to dozens of cases just like Gary's. I can make sure that he is happy where he goes.
Oh, you see, because I never want to see your face again. So I'm not going to do that.
Hear the minister's Drake?
Well, we'll just see what happens, won't we, Mr. Miller?
You're just gonna take my brother, Betty. You're just gonna take him.
Listen to me. I am drafting a document for government officials to enter your home and just see what the conditions are there.
You're gonna come in my house. Like, you're not fucking taking my brother. You're not gonna do it. You can't do that.
I can. If you want me to fight me on this, we can go to court. It's a road that I have traveled well. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have 5 other calls I have to get to tonight. I am sending over this document for a signature tonight, Mr. Miller, and I would strongly suggest signing it and making this whole process a little less painful for the both of us.
Poor you.
She talks weird. I remember her because she talks the opposite
That's
of what
bullshit.
she's saying. Like a lot of people, she meant it's like the opposite. She was speaking opposite, so that's how we know she's not gonna. I know, you know.
It's bullshit.
It'll be okay, Jonathan.
You know, I could have left you to rot when mom and dad died. I could have left you, but I changed, you know. I pulled myself up out of the dirt to take care of you. And what do I get for it? You know, what do I get?
I don't know if you're supposed to get anything for it. You're supposed to get love out of it because you're my brother.
What I tell you about love, but I tell you it's bullshit. Man.
I know me and I know you. You could change. You could love me.
Change is for homeless people, man. Change is for cashiers, huh? And the only thing you ever gave me was change. This could change. They want to take that away. They want to take it.
We could fight them together. We just need our guts.
I don't have any guts, man. That's a bitch we didn't know. I lost those long time ago. I am mid-30s delivering pizzas. Man, how do you think it feels for me to have to take care of you like I do, you know, to take what I have to take for you? How do you think that makes me feel?
Like you.
Oh. I'll make you a deal. You want to fight, man? We'll fight. But you can't blame me if they walk in here and take you at the end of this, because I couldn't bear that. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. So, just as soon as you get better, we're driving down to Dallas. I'm going to beat this bitch. I'm not going to beat her. We're going to defeat her in court. We're going to get our lawyer on.
Yeah, we are.
I'll leave your meds on the stairs, man. It's bedtime. We'll be good, man. Hey, we'll find our way.
Jonathan? How do I turn it off? Jonathan! Man, fuck it. I know.
Pete and Lou sit across from each other in recliners. Pete has not showered in a few days. Beer bottles are scattered around his seat. The table next to him has an ash-covered pipe, a filthy bong, and an empty Ziploc bag. He is dressed in a wrinkled, stained t-shirt and torn jeans. He has started to grow a messy, uneven beard. Lou is neatly groomed, dressed nicely. He has been taking care of himself.
You know you don't have it in you to break out of this.
You're wrong.
Oh, I'm wrong? Okay, sure. Keep deluding yourself.
Shut up.
God, you're such a coward. You know what you feel. Do something about it.
I'm trying to.
Not hard enough. When was the last time you even went outside?
I don't know.
Of course you don't. No, I don't even know.
It doesn't seem worth it.
And that's how I know you don't have the strength you need.
What, because going outside doesn't seem worth it?
Yeah, it's simple. You still haven't even touched that bike from Christmas.
I know I haven't. I've been meaning to ride it.
Don't bullshit me. You and I both know you haven't been meaning to, man. Own up to it.
You have no idea what it feels like.
Yes, I do. Better than most. So I know exactly what it takes to get by, and I know that you don't have the fucking stones.
Who would I even talk to, Lou? My parents? And get ignored because this wasn't a problem when they were young? My friends, and get pitied and coddled when all I want is to feel normal again? A stranger and just get asked, how does that make you feel? I don't know how it makes me feel. That's why I'm so stuck.
Bro, you don't need to yell at me. I get it.
Everywhere I turn, it seems like my only answer is just suck it up and take it. It seems like that's what I'm supposed to do, but what if I can't fucking take it anymore?
Well, there's always one option.
Fuck off.
Just a suggestion.
You're trying to manipulate me.
Guilty.
It's not gonna work.
Yeah? Says who? You? Dude, it took you 20 years to consider that you might have a problem on your hands.
It took less than that. It just took 20 years to act on it.
What a huge difference that makes.
Yeah, well, at least I acted.
Yeah? And a whole lot of good that did you. What treatment did you get? Some pills thrown at you? Told to sedate yourself and fuck off for a few weeks?
I went to meet a psychiatrist.
Oh, look at that. Another doctor not to take you seriously.
Why the hell did I even invite you over?
Because you hate yourself.
God, I wish I'd never gone to that fucking bar.
Me too, pal. You think I want to be around a guy who just wallows in his own shit 24/7?
Then why stay?
I thought it was obvious. You're fun to fuck with.
Oh, great.
I mean, yeah, again, it is great for me. I mean,
seriously, Lou, fuck you.
Yeah, buddy, right back at you.
It isn't fair. I just want to stop feeling like this.
Yeah? Well, it ain't gonna happen. You're a big, strong man, remember? You're not supposed to feel like this. You're supposed to be able to just take it.
I don't want to take it.
There's an exit, man. There's always the fire escape. If you really are that desperate, then just go for it.
I'm not doing that.
Your funeral, or not, I guess. Technically. Got a light?
Yeah, here.
You want to hit?
No. It's so unfair, man. What? Just because I have a dick in my pants, I'm not allowed to feel like this? I'm not allowed to feel like the world is crumbling around me?
Pretty much, yeah.
Who came up with that rule? Who said that men aren't allowed to be emotional or vulnerable?
You want the real answer, or do you want me to pity you?
It's rhetorical, asshole. I know the answer.
Just checking.
So what? Because men in power were misogynistic hundreds of years ago, I'm not allowed to feel bad? I'm being punished.
Bro, if you think you're the demographic suffering the most because of the actions of your ancestors, then there's a whole other issue we need to tackle here.
Jesus, Lou! I know that what I'm struggling with isn't nearly as bad as sexism or racism, but that still doesn't mean it isn't a goddamn problem.
I mean, you're not entirely wrong, but you're not entirely right either.
You're not helping.
Trust me, I know. That's my goal here.
Get out of my house!
Why? So you can wallow some more all by yourself?
I don't want to put up with any more of your bullshit.
Whether it's me or the voice inside your head, you're going to be hearing the same things. Wouldn't you rather have someone here to make sure the knives stay in the kitchen?
I'm not doing that, Lou!
Okay, buddy.
I need to get out of this, and you aren't helping me.
Never said I was.
All you're doing is bringing me down and smoking my weed.
Your weed? No, you did that all by yourself, bud. Check it out.
Hey, don't touch my shit.
It's an empty bag. How much was in there last time I was here? 10 G's? I was here yesterday, bro. That's fucking pathetic.
Never said I wasn't.
Even if you did, I wouldn't believe you. When was the last time you showered? When was the last time you were sober for more than 15 minutes? Huh? When was the last time you went to bed before 5 a.m.?
Doesn't matter.
God, I would feel bad for you if you weren't so pathetic.
Stop calling me that.
Why should I? You said it yourself. Pathetic.
I'm not.
What?
I'm not.
I don't think I'm hearing you right. Have you looked at yourself in the mirror?
I'm not pathetic, Lou.
Look around, Pete. Look at how far you fell. You got straight A's in school, man. You were good looking. You were in shape. Now look at you. A beer belly in your 20s? Unshowered? You smell like a fucking sty.
I said I'm not pathetic.
I'll start believing it when you do. But for now, all you are is a sad little man, afraid of what the world might think if he admits that he has a problem.
Shut up!
Oh, look at you, big tough man, resorting to anger before anything else. Where have we seen that one before?
Don't say another word.
Or what? You'll threaten me?
Lou stands. He is much larger than he seemed.
Stop talking shit about me.
The poor little baby got his feelings hurt. Only one thing makes me different from anyone else, Petey. I have the balls to say to your face what everyone else says behind your back. I feel completely comfortable calling you a whiny, pathetic, cowardly shadow of a man who hides his own emotions for long enough that he becomes a hollow little bitch who then—
Lou is cut off by a punch. He has put everything into that one hit. Blood pours from Lou's nose.
Told you to shut up, Lou.
Lou grabs Pete by the collar.
Oh, you little fucking weasel. I thought you would have realized by now that it's a bad idea to fuck with me.
That punch ends in a crunch. Pete has lost some teeth. Lou lets go, and with the last punch, Pete falls to the ground in a heap. Pete picks his bloodied head up and realizes that the empty bottles are next to him.
I'm not weak.
Say that again if you find those fucking teeth, loser.
Pete grabs an empty bottle and slowly begins to stand.
I'm not taking any of it anymore. Not you, not my mind, not anyone else.
So you finally mustered up the courage to end it.
You could say that.
Pete rears back and swings the empty bottle full force at Lou's head. It shatters on impact and knocks Lou to his knees.
Fucker!
Pete smashes another bottle on Lou's head. Lou falls. He is bleeding profusely from multiple cuts in his face.
Get out, or I end this fight.
You think you're a big old badass now, huh?
Nope, just not taking anyone else's bullshit ever again.
Oh, yeah? Why's that? You're finally gonna tell mommy that you don't feel so good? Let me know how well that works out when everyone makes fun of you. Probably find you at that same bar again, drinking the same shitty beer, lamenting the same shitty life, and the cycle will repeat.
Yeah, I doubt that.
Pete kicks Lou in the side. He opens the door of his apartment and kicks Lou again to push him out the door, then closes it and locks it. He looks around at the battlefield. There is no broken glass. There is no blood.
Mom? Hey. It's Pete. Can I come over? I need to talk to you about something.
End of play.
Hi, I am Gretchen Smith. I'm the chair of the Division of Theater at SMU. And thank you very much for joining us. Tonight we're going to have a talk back with the three playwrights, the people who wrote the plays that you just saw. And I'm thrilled to have them with me. I'm going to let them introduce themselves and talk about which play they wrote. So let's start with Anthony.
Hi, my name is Anthony Gaetjen, and I wrote Eden Mining Co., which was directed by the wonderful Dan Hasse and had Savier, Alysia, and Kate Rose.
And Brady?
I am Brady White, and I wrote Brother's Keeper.
And Dalton?
Hi, I'm Dalton Glenn, and I wrote We Fight Our Own Battles.
Cool. So I'm going to start off with a pretty simple question to the three of you. So everybody had the prompt, which was change takes courage. So how did you apply that to your play in particular? They're all thinking. They're like,
For me, the character of Jonathan, Mr. Camo Man, has been stuck in this rut for 15 years, and taking care of his brother is all he knows. So he doesn't know if he can change. He doesn't know if he can continue to do this. So that's where I sort of stuck in the prompt there.
Cool. If anybody has questions, they can put those in the chat and we will ask the playwrights that, by the way.
I was thinking about, last semester we wrote about the times we were in, and with COVID being earlier on, it was all so new and we were worried about this art form and all of that. And so now going from there and looking towards the future, it was really hard to be super optimistic. And I tried to investigate someone who is put through an institution that is wholly corrupt and a society that accepts that, and give her multiple opportunities to say yes to change, change that would ultimately not benefit her, but change that would be morally correct, and for her to, as those opportunities increase in severity, continually say no to that, and until ultimately she turns away from it entirely.
Cool.
For me, similar to Brady, the first thing that came to my mind when I thought of Change Takes Courage was getting into a rut that feels absolutely impossible to get out of, and surrounding yourself with people who you think are helping you through it, but they're not. They're just dragging you down farther, and how difficult that is to break out of that cycle and to actually like bring about some change in your own life.
Cool. We have a question from the chat. Somebody wants to know, how much did your plays change from your original first drafts?
I pretty much, between the first rehearsal and the second rehearsal, tore the entire thing up. But I will say that my play went through a lot less changes than my play last semester. And I credit that to the wonderful experience that has been given by this collaboration with Theater East, because I feel like I've grown a lot as a playwright from last semester to this semester. And so I was able to act a lot more deliberately on the kind of things I wanted to write about from the very get-go, whereas Deli had, upwards of 6 drafts. This one, I was probably at like 3 or 4 was the final draft.
I'd say for me with this, I got lucky. Similar to Anthony, I had a lot of changes with the first time that we did this collaboration with Theater East. But thanks to that experience, I actually more or less only had some wording changes where I thought that something made complete sense on paper. Then I heard it out loud and thought, oh, that doesn't make a bit of sense coming out of someone's mouth. So I had to completely change how I worded that sentence. But other than that, yeah, not too much.
Great. Brady?
For me, my first draft is still in there. I ended up similar to Dalton. I would hear my actors speak the words and hear them where they would stumble and where I can rearrange things. But other than that, my first draft is in the script, and it's pretty much I beefed up some of the emotional core of the play. And I didn't want to stop here Gary and Jonathan bickering at each other. So I wrote some more of that.
Cool. Okay. Anthony and Dalton, this is your second time through this process, and Brady, it's your first time. So maybe you guys can talk a little bit about the process and how it's been for you and what you got out of it. Because of course, playwrights write their plays at home and then they bring them in and give them to actors and directors, and you're in a collaboration process, and there's often a lot to learn from that.
It makes me, the last time we did this and this time, both times, it made me realize how selfless what actors and directors do is. That sentence made sense. It's very selfless what they do, because I bring in these words saying like, hopefully this is good enough. And then they try it to the best of their ability, like really go for it and try to embody these characters that sometimes, when I came in, like we're half baked, and then through the investigation led by them, I came to realize who they were and who they needed to be in the grander world of the play. And so I just made sure to thank them a lot, because throughout this whole process, it was very much them who helped guide my creative mind as I continued to edit the play.
Cool.
I've actually had an opportunity to kind of be on the other side of the table, because at SMU we do something kind of similar to this called New Visions, New Voices, where it's a similar thing. Students write plays and student actors perform it. But what was so amazing is that in those moments when I was an actor, I was just thinking, yeah, this is cool. Like we get to work with the playwright. But on the other side, I had no idea how incredible it felt to be thinking, oh my God, there are actors reading things that I wrote. I wrote this, and it's just phenomenal. I had no idea that it felt like this to hear the words that I'd written out loud until we got to do this project.
Yeah. Yeah, both of them said some great stuff I agreed with. But for me, it was interesting to I sort of, how I wrote it was I created the world of it line by line, and hearing the actors and director dissect it and look at it from out here, and the script is right here. They're finding so many things I didn't even think about when I wrote it, and some great stuff that I didn't even think of, and so that was the most interesting part of the process for me.
Yeah, it's, I mean, this kind of development, this kind of work with scripts, and leading to a staged reading, spending, 2 to 3 to 4 weeks with a script for playwrights is a real part of the process. And we're so thankful to Theater East that they are allowing us to do this, and that we can work, that our student actors can work with professional actors, and our playwrights can work with student actors and professional actors, and that all of that can come together, because this is a huge part of the playwriting process, and it's a huge part of hearing your script aloud. Because when you sit in a room and you write a script, everything sounds good in your head, and then you take it into the room and actors say it and you're like, oh, that's what's going on there. And it really helps you clarify your story, your plot, really helps you clarify your characters, really helps you clarify what you want to say in any moment. And we're really grateful for this opportunity for our student playwrights to have this experience and to have this exposure to a professional process. Is there anything you guys, the three of you, want to say before we sort of close it out? They're thinking again.
Thank you, beautiful actors and beautiful director, for bringing my short play to life.
Great.
I want to extend the same thanks to my cast and director, and also say I'm very excited to see, I know Josh also wrote a science fiction play, which I have not yet seen, so I'm excited for that tomorrow night.
Yeah, for me, the same. Thank you so much to my cast, my director, my ASM.
Oh.
Just an incredible opportunity. Thank you all so much.
Yes, we have 4 more plays tomorrow night. I hope people will come back. I understand we have some questions in our Q&A area. Oh, there we are. Okay, wait, I'm looking at that. Okay, there you go. Oh, well, this is actually a really good question. Somebody who asked, if you were to reimagine your plays on an actual stage, what changes might happen to your script?
I think that's, I'm happy I just mentioned that Josh also wrote a science fiction play, because I think the reason that science fiction plays don't work so well on the stage is because the theater and live theater and all of that is all about character and seeing real people, like being confronted with problems right in front of you, whereas science fiction is so based in world building and kind of all of the effects that we can do through cinema or through like world building in novels and all of that. And because that's not the strength of the theater, I think that's a huge thing. And so something I struggled with throughout my play was making sure I was doing world building through characterization to kind of help with that. But because it's a digital format, I was able to say like, okay, we're on comm links rather than, we're on a stage and you have to imagine that this person is on an alien planet and this person is in a spaceship. And so I think that honestly, my play would not be nearly like hardly good at all if it were live, and I would have to do a lot of thinking about how to change it.
For me, I wrote it for Zoom because we had to, and also I liked the idea of Zoom being an obstacle that the characters had to have, and each glitch, each unpurposeful glitch or Zoom thing would be part of the experience. And I liked the idea of doing that. So if I were to do it on a stage, it would be in that Miss Betty's social worker office. Jonathan wouldn't want to wear his mask. Gary would have his on. It would be a lot more. I wouldn't want to be Miss Drake having these two people in front of her.
I would agree with that. I think that would be challenging for her. Dalton, any?
Honestly, with mine, I don't think there would be too many changes. Obviously, we get to see actual stage combat, and I would probably add a bit to that. I tried to keep it as limited as possible, since over Zoom, you're not going to get as much of an effect of seeing an actor punch another one. So I did limit that. I would probably add to that, and of course, add to the dirty and dinginess of Pete's apartment. But other than that, no particular changes that I can think of.
Well, here's a question for you, Dalton, but I think probably that you actually answered that. The question was, how is the writing process to convey a different sense of physical space? You guys, I mean, of the group of this plays, you guys really embraced Zoom as a space in which you were writing your plays. And as you talked about, it would be a different play if you didn't do it in Zoom. But I think you really embraced Zoom beautifully and used it as the space of performance, which was quite nice. I mean, any challenges on that in terms of the limitations of thinking of Zoom as your dramatic space?
I think that a big part, obviously, mine was intended to be in its own like physical space. The first image that I had in my mind was like, change takes courage. You got to fight for change. Okay, what about a physical fight? What about an actual fist fight, like with your inner demons? So that was the first thing that popped into my mind. And then I thought, okay, we are going to be doing this over Zoom. That might be a little bit difficult. So I think that under different circumstances, I probably would have put less of it into the stage directions and more of it left to like director's discretion.
Mm-hmm.
But in this Zoom reading environment, I think that it's necessary to specifically say, okay, here's a punch, here's a punch, here's a punch.
Okay. Let me ask one last question. So what's your next move with these plays? Where do you want to take these plays?
Well, Bernard just messaged me saying that he knows how to do my play on stage. So I should probably meet with him and ask him about that.
There you go.
But no, yeah, if I got the opportunity to continue with this play and keep working with it over Zoom, I think there are a lot of people, I would love to do that. I think there are a lot of people right now who are itching to act in our theater program and outside of that who haven't got the chance to. And, you know, doing this in my free time with friends just to develop it, see where it goes, maybe see if it could be longer, see what I could do with these characters. Actually, my characters started out as an idea for a short story, and so I also might want to consider doing that.
Okay, cool. Brady?
For me, I think I'm definitely writing a full length. I think it can be a full length Zoom show. I think it can be a full length stage show. I would delve into more of Jonathan and Gary relationship and investigate how much Jonathan hates Gary for being his whole life and how much he loves Gary for being his whole life. Investigate how mom and dad died. It's going to be a lot of fun writing it, so I'm excited.
Cool. Dalton?
I think that I would probably explore the moment where Pete met Lou for the first time. I kind of allude to it saying I wish I'd never gone to that bar, but I would probably delve into the specifics of, okay, what happened at that bar for Pete to get so low that this happened? And I was actually contemplating also exploring the moment after the phone call. Like, where does Pete go from there? Is he able to draw himself out of this?
Okay, great. Well, I think we can keep talking about where you can take these next. I think that those are great ideas and what you can do. I want to say thank you to all the actors and the directors and the stage managers who have been fantastic for us. Angelica McEwen and her team of ASMs who have been really wonderful. And thank you so much again to Theater East, Judson Jones, to Kristen Jones, Julia Maldonado. It's been fantastic to work with you, and come back tomorrow night and see 4 more new plays.
And I would like to say a very special shout out to Brad, Castle, and Dawn Askew for all the work that they have done. They've just been magnificent. Thank you, Brad. And
Absolutely.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.